Good morning, you guys. It's day number 94 of my stay batical to 50, 100-day journey. Changing my body, my mind, pretty much whatever else happens. Loving coming on here in the morning times. I go out for a 60-minute walk in the mornings. And when I started this stay batical September 1st, it was much warmer than it is now. But as you guys know that follow me, you know I love the cold. I did a cold plunge yesterday afternoon in my new toy. I have a little ice bath toy that I get into. And for some reason yesterday, it was very intense in the cold. Because I popped my butt in that thing. And the worst part is the hands when I'm in that cold water. My hands get this intense prickly feeling. The rest of my body, I do okay. After that initial shock, you first get in and you're just like, oh my God. But then the hands are beneath the water, and the hands and feet, those are the ones that get real prickly. Those are also the ones that I feel get numb the quickest. And so that's the worst part. But you're only in there a couple minutes. I think I did 2.5 minutes yesterday, which that's kind of a sweet spot for me. If I can get 2.5 minutes in like 33 degree water, I feel like I've accomplished something. Definitely getting all the benefits of the cold. And of course, being out here, it's not real cold today. It's probably mid 40s today. It's not real cold, but you're getting a little bit of cold thermogenesis doing this as well. So if you're ever watching, ever walking out in the cold, and you're allowing your body to be exposed to some of that cold, you're getting some of the same benefits that getting in an ice bath would do. So anyway, got a great topic for you guys here that we're going to get to in just a minute. Thanks for being here. 6 days away, you guys. Next week, next Friday, 1 week from today, I will be sharing a wrap up of how this went on the Stay Batical to 50. Good morning, guys. And so I look forward to that. And that will be my last day, by the way, for the rest of the year on social media. So when I disappear after the Stay Batical, don't think I died. I'm still here. Although there are some people online that wish I would die. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I will be going away purposely for 3 weeks, getting off of all social media. I don't really do that a whole lot over an extended period. But I learned 2 years ago when I went away for 6 months completely how much I needed it in spurts here and there. So it tends to make sense around the holidays. I am feverishly working on my book, trying to get it finished. My next book is a book on mindset, so coming early 2022. So we're going to bang out the rest of that book. Still doing a lot on it right now, but being completely away from social media and not having to have obligations here will definitely help me finish it up and do it the right way and make it as good as it can possibly be. I also talked to my mom this week and she's like, are you coming for the holidays? I'm like, yes, I'm coming. So we'll figure in some time there. Lots going on, as it is for most people this time of the year. But let's get into this topic I have set for you guys here today. Don't get hung up on the minutia. I think a lot of people worry themselves to death over very little things in the grand scheme of things. They make themselves sick, like literally sick, and stressed out and overwhelmed, and they don't know how they handle life because they tend to focus on these little bitty things. And for the life of me, I don't understand, with all the big things happening in the world, with all the big things in your personal life that you probably have going on, why, pray tell, do you worry about these little bitty things that are nonsensical, that are really irrelevant? And when you look at them a year from now, even a month from now, and you look back on the worry that you put into it, the emotional investment, that toll that it took on your body to worry about this little thing, you go, what in the world was I thinking? our culture likes to refer to these people as worrywarts. Maybe the more modern vernacular for a worrywart is a Karen. So you know who you are. If you tend to worry more, you can be a worrier without being a Karen. I'm not trying to say if you worry, you're a Karen, but a lot of Karens, all the Karens, are worrywarts. They worry about the minutia. Can I talk to your manager? I want your supervisor. That's somebody who's got a charmed life. If all you have to do is complain to a fast food manager about something about your food or whatever, you've lived a very charmed life. And I feel like a lot of people focus on little bitty things. Now, I get it. Your definition of what a little bitty thing is compared to maybe other people might be different. You might think that that little bitty thing is actually a very big thing. You might believe, all right, Jimmy, you don't understand. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Okay, cool. But think about like the totality of your life, the things you've gone through in your life. How does it compare to those things? Well, it's not as big as some things I've went through, but it's big to me right now. And I think we can make things bigger than they really are in our minds. And I'm going to throw a bomb at you. You guys know I like to do this on these walk and talks. I'm going to throw a bomb at you on this topic. I think some people, now hear me out on this, don't jump to conclusions. Some people make mountains out of molehills of little things because they're familiar with the stress of worrying. They thrive in a field of always being on edge, needing things to be a little more upsetting to them. The minutia becomes big because the familiar is chaos. And I think about all these kids that live through crazy homes when they're growing up. I did. I lived in a very crazy household in my teenage years. I saw physical, emotional abuse time and time again. And thankfully, I never went this way. But a lot of people get out of a situation like that, and suddenly things are going well, and they're treated well in their early adulthood, and they go crazy. They can't wrap their heads around that because their normal in their head was the chaos that they had to grow up with. And so some people make a big deal about those little things in life because they need some sense of normality. Now, the ironic thing about that situation is in the midst of it, all they want is that pain and chaos to go away. And so the ironic thing is now they're manufacturing the exact same pain and chaos in their life today because it's what they know. Even though when they were younger, they wished it was different. Irony of all ironies. But nobody said the human nature is linear or that it makes sense. Sometimes we just fall into these bad habits and then we don't know why. We get mad when we go through the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant and they leave something out of the bag and you go on a rampage. At the end of the day, that's not a big deal. At the end of the day, that is the minutia. Little things in life. And trust me, I used to let little things bother me. I used to have people in my life that worried about every little thing. And I would throw out phrases like, everything's a crisis. Everything's gloom and doom. The world's coming to an end. And there are people that live their lives that way. You know your life is going great when you have to start making up reasons to be upset. You have to start taking, in the grand scheme of things, nonsensical, little bitty, non-issue things and make them into a thing. We all know people like this in our lives, don't we? And we have all, not trying to say I've never done this, but we have all done exactly that. Some of it is for attention, because you don't think you're being paid attention to. Some of it is a cry for help. Some of it is because you're hurting, and the only way you know to release that hurt is to lash out at other people and start worrying about little things. I have seen people in my own life that any little thing that irks them, they make it a bigger deal. Oh, well, I'm going to complain to their customer service department. All right, go ahead. See how that's going to get you. And again, I used to be that guy. I used to be worked up about things. And I've come to the conclusion in my life that it's not worth all the stress worrying about the minutia. Don't get hung up on the minutia, guys. The moment you let the little things in life bother you is the moment when the big things hit, you're overwhelmed because you have responded to the little things in the same way that you should be responding to the big things. So that when the big things actually happen, you don't know how to respond because you've already had this humongous response to little nonsensical, irrelevant things. I have seen this play out so many times, it's not even funny. So I know a lot of people say, well, let things roll off your back, take things in stride. And yes, the little things you absolutely should. And even the big things, keeping them in perspective. But how do you know what things are big if you respond to the minutia as if they're big? I think you start to lose any semblance of normality for yourself. You just start to believe that there's one big bad thing after another, after another, after another, coming to get you, taking you down, discouraging you. And that's not the way it is. Not if you don't want it to be. Don't get hung up on the minutia. Take control of those little things. Don't allow them to rule you. And I get it. Some people are more natural worriers than others. And I would encourage you to work on that. I would encourage you to dig deep to figure out why exactly do you worry so much? What is it about the things in your life that you feel like you have to expend that much emotional energy? Because let's face it, when you spend a lot of emotional energy in your life, it starts to wear on you physically. And that physical stress on the body then starts to have you pack on pounds, raise your blood sugar, increase your inflammation levels, increase your hunger levels, which then makes you eat more. But sometimes the hunger levels come along with a little bit of ghrelin, which makes you want to eat a lot of crap more. You see why getting this handle on the minutia of life as a stress is so important? Yes, be concerned about the big things, but don't make little things into big things just so you have an excuse to worry. And I have a feeling so many people do. And they do willingly. And they don't even know it. They're just going through their life because they maybe watched a parent worry about every little thing. So then as a little munchkin, you're sitting there watching them. Oh, well, I guess when things come up, no matter what size, I'm supposed to worry. And so that becomes a behavior that then you grow as an adult And then you have kids, and guess what? Your little munchkin is watching you worry about every little thing. I think this is an under-talked about stressor that I haven't really heard many people address. Most of the stress we put on ourselves is self-induced. It's a direct result of letting every little thing in life overwhelm us, be top of mind for us. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things to concern yourself with. There are things that would take precedence in your life to pay attention to. But 90-something% of the stuff you currently worry about, do you really need to? And this is not to point fingers at you, because if I'm pointing one at you, I got 3 right back at me. And I have done this so many times, worrying about things that I shouldn't have been worried about at all. And it doesn't mean those things are just totally insignificant, but it means we don't rise them to the level of significance of the things that are really important and really big. You can deal with the little things without letting them send you into a worrisome tailspin. And that's what I'm trying to impart to you guys today. It's day 94, those of you just joining us, of my stay sabbatical of 50. 100 days is within very close proximity now. Less than a week. Next Thursday will be day 100. 1 week from today, I will come on live on my walk and talk for the last time in 2021. Give a little bit of a recap of how the stay sabbatical went, and one last inspirational, motivational, whatever you call these things that I do. So, mindset types of programming. So join me next week for that. But today I am asking this question, or I'm getting the topic out there. Don't get hung up on the minutia. Are you one of those people who lets the little things in life bother you? That you feel like you have to speak up about every little calamity in your life? And again, there's no judgment here. I think we've all done it from time to time. A lot of mine was because I was with someone who had that mentality, and the expectation was that I would speak up. So I ended up speaking up on little bitty things that I thought were so stupid. But I spoke up about them because I was requested to. I don't do that anymore. Nobody's going to ask me to do something that I myself would not want to do like that. And I feel like it is more common than we want to admit. But do you get hung up on the minutia, or are you the kind of person that says, okay, there are some really big things in this world to truly be concerned about and to pour your energy into? And so you only focus on those things and let the other things just kind of work themselves out. And from a health standpoint, both mental health and physical health, can I tell you, your stress levels will drop so much. Your ability to think clearly and to keep a calm mood all improve when you let go of that little stuff. When you don't let the little stuff bog you down, weigh you down, wear you down. All those things happen when you worry about the minutia. Don't want that. Nope. Too much life to live to let the little things weigh you down. And here's the thing, when you add up all those little things you worry about, they become a big thing cumulatively. But individually, not a chance. Individually, it's like a gnat. Bing! You know, you just flick the gnat off of you. Whereas the big problems are like an elephant on your back. There's a big difference between a gnat and an elephant. But if you get 1,000,000 gnats on you, guess what? Those 1,000,000 gnats start to weigh you down just like the elephant. And so don't do that. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Definitely chime in on this topic. Don't get hung up on the minutia. What do you think about this one? Hello guys. Hello Linda. Hello SWW Wood. Berkeley says, was just watching your Wednesday and Thursday videos. Better late than never. Well, welcome, Berkeley. You weren't too late. Just getting started when you popped in. Keep It Simple says, good morning, Jimmy. About to head out for my morning walk. 24 degrees in Toronto. Wow. Yes. Somebody asked me yesterday, what's the lowest it could get that you would still wear shorts and t-shirt? I'm like, yeah, probably around 25 degrees. If it got too much colder than 25, I would most certainly wear at least a jacket. But I'm sure you're all bundled up on your walk. Gustafson says, I'm going to miss your walk and talk. Well, I'm only gone for a few weeks. Give me a little bit of time to rest, relax, work on my book, go travel some. I'll be back in the new year. And as I've been teasing over the past week, I will definitely be making a brand new podcast out of these walk and talk videos. Obviously, the videos are up on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can watch the full episodes. I've also been doing on Instagram a reel, R-E-E-L, with like a 1-minute clip. So that's been fun to put those out there, and those have gotten very well received. So I'll keep doing those things. Look up the hashtag for now, Staybatical to 50. I'll come up with a new hashtag for whatever I call the new show. And we'll put that out there on all those formats. And so that's coming in the new year. But I'll be back in January with new episodes. But you still got me for another week, so don't say goodbye just yet. Go, go, Jimmy. Brain, muscle, and cold. Yes. All three. I'll take that. If you have time to entertain little problems, you're living a good life. Yes. Bulletproof. Nailed it. If little things are what bother you, you're not having a bad life at all. Because there are people going through very real hardships in their life. Loss of a job, death of a loved one. I mean, I could go down the list of all the calamities that are hitting people right now, like real things that are hitting. And you're sitting there worried about not getting ketchup for your French fries. Maybe not you guys, but people in general didn't get any ketchup for your French fries when you went through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and so you circle back around. I want to talk to your manager. Yeah, you've got a good life if that's your life. For sure. Jacqueline says it's projection. Oh, yes. Yes, people like to project their own insecurities, their own rough times in their life onto other people. Hang on a second, guys. It's very busy at this intersection here, and I do not want to get run over. All right. They just have to know there are pedestrians on this trail. I get some stink eyes every time I cross that road. I'm like, I have just as much a right to be out here as you do. I'm a big boy, but I don't think I can take on your 2-ton vehicle. So anyway, back to you guys. Bulletproof. My favorite are the skinny people who complain that they can't put on weight. Yes. That is funny, but not funny at the same time. There are some people who have underweight issues, and they're literally eating everything they can, and they still can't put on weight. Meanwhile, those of us look at pictures of dessert, gain 10 pounds just looking at the pictures. So it is a funny juxtaposition, right? Good morning, David. Thanks for being here. There are many drama queens out there, says Bulletproof. Yes. Yeah, and on the one hand, I kind of get why people are that way. Maybe they were in an authoritarian type of household when they were a kid, and they were always told, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. you're bad, you're this, you're that. So when they become adults, they feel like they need to make up for lost time and that they were unfairly treated as a kid. So now everything feels so unfair, so they lash out and they become Karens, drama queens. So I have kind of a heart for those people, but at the same time, get your act together, figure out your trauma. Go get help if you need it. Stop lashing out at other people, because nobody likes drama. It's so funny, I'm on a dating app right now, and one of the most popular things that the girls I've been looking at have been writing of things they don't like is, I'm not about drama. I don't need drama. I don't think any of us like drama. None of us want it, but it seems to follow some people. And I would argue some people manufacture it because it's all they have going for them in their life. Hate to say it that explicitly, but it's true. It's true. When your life's going well, you just make up shit to worry about. That is one charmed life you're living. Lashing out is a big sign of the lack of self-control. Yeah. If you can't control your emotions, you really need to get help for that. And look, I think mental health has been stigmatized in our society, but it shouldn't be. I made no bones about my life for most of the last 2 years. I'm about 6 months removed from 2 years where it was pretty rough for me. And I had a therapist help. Not ashamed to say that out loud, that I talked to someone. Did a lot of work on myself. It's what lets me speak so clearly and passionately with you guys, because I've lived a lot of these lessons I'm sharing with you. I've lived through the pain of that. Realizing that, okay, I wasn't in a good place because of circumstances in my life, things that I never really dealt with. I finally dealt with them. I finally let those things that were the minutia in my life that I was so consumed by, I finally let them go. And I'm a better human being today because of that. And it's all I want with this message today is for you to experience the life you've always wanted. It's very easy to think life should have been this way, should have been that way, and now I'm going to be pissy about it for the rest of my life. No. If life should have been, okay, acknowledge the lamenting of what it wasn't, but then move on and go make it what it needs to be today. Don't keep reliving that trauma and reliving all this negative stuff you had to go through. Don't keep reliving it for the rest of your life. Don't you want to move on from that? Don't you want to be in a much better place? I think the answer is obvious. And yet people, they're going to worry about the minutia. They're going to bog themselves down. Self-induced. That's the worst part. You lament all these people and what they did to you, maybe when you were younger, or the things that you've been through in your life, but they're no longer in your life. They're no longer having any control in your life. And yet you allow them to live rent-free in your head. And you keep living those same moments over and over and over again. And that's what makes you worry about the little things. That's why you never move forward in your life. And take it from somebody who got the shit beat out of him when I was a teenager. From the time I just turned 14 until 17 and a half, when I moved out of the house and went off to college less than a week after I graduated high school. I know how hard it is. I know how easy it is to let those things that happen to you haunt you. Make you do stupid things. I did a lot of stupid stuff in my 20s. A lot of stupid stuff. But you learn from it. You grow from it. You move on from it. If you choose to do that. If you don't allow those things to keep reverberating. It's why I come on these walk and talks, to encourage you guys. You're never, ever in a place where you're all alone with whatever you're dealing with. If you're dealing with the minutia and letting it bother you bother you in your life, I guarantee you there's many others that do as well. And they do. Which is why we're talking to you today about this topic. Good morning, Parkman. Karen says, I made it. Normally I'm on my way to work. Happy Friday. Well, I'm glad you can make it in here. Parkman has his cup of coffee ready to go. Parkman wrote me at like 7 o'clock this morning. Are you going live today? Yeah, in about a half an hour. Okay, cool. Just don't want to miss it. So you made it. Thank you. The walk and talks are great. Appreciate that, Parkman. Sharon says, do you think all this craziness in our country tends to make us worry too much? Well, yeah. I think everything that's happening in the world right now with this, I'm not going to say the words out loud, but you know what I'm talking about. This thing that's happening the last 2 years and all the everything associated with it. We actually have lots of statistics on suicide attempts and depression. We had actually seen mental health drug usage go down. A lot of the mental health, depression and anxiety and panic attack medications all go down pre-pandemic. They all shot through the roof once this all started again. And it's the part of this that nobody's talked about is how many people have we lost, not due to this Black Plague, but due to all the restrictions and things put into place to supposedly deal with the Black Plague. How many deaths have happened because of that? Or how many people are sick now? How many mental health breakdowns have we had? You're not hearing about those statistics, and that to me is a travesty. Because if you're going to factor in all the everything about health, it's not just about people directly impacted by this Black Plague thing. It's everything else. And the big statistic last year, I remember when it came out, 1 in 4 teenagers, 1 in 4 teenagers attempted suicide last year. And a bunch of them were successful. It was too much. So I think it's a big thing, Sharon. And it's a big deal what's been happening to us. But even with that kind of thing, we should always keep the perspective of, all right, here's a big thing in my life. Do I have any control over that big thing? And if the answer is no, you can't control what's happening with the big thing, then all you can do is control your response to it. So, yes, don't get hung up on the minutia, but don't get hung up on big things you can't really do anything about other than control how you react. None of us can do anything about what's happening with the Black Plague or the hokey pokey and all the other measures being put into place. We can't control those things. They're out of our control and in the hands of others. What we can control is how we respond to them, what we allow ourselves to be exposed to. It's very easy to get caught up in watching news coverage and being exposed to information. I keep just enough of an ear on the ground to know what's going on without getting caught up in the feverish pitch of the propaganda about what's going on. It's the only way you can stay sane. And if you're not already doing that, highly encourage you. Curate your news from non-commentary websites so you can know what's going on, but get away from the talking heads on both sides. It's just going to work you up into a frenzy. And then that causes you to worry about little things. Here's the other thing. Don't get caught up on the minutia. A lot of those little things that you worry about tend to never manifest into anything. And so if they don't really turn into anything, why exactly are we worried about them? And yet we do, don't we? We totally worry about them. We let them rule our lives and become everything about our thought processes, right? So, good morning, guys. So yes, a lot of the craziness out there is induced by all that's going on, Sharon. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Karen says people need to learn if they are offered offense from someone, they don't have to take offense. Yeah, I'm not someone who needs to be outraged by some comment from a random person on the internet. I don't really take offense to anything. You could call me a lot of names, say whatever you want. Free country. I'm a big believer in the First Amendment, and you got the right to say what you want to say. You don't have the right to be heard, but you do have the right to say what you want to say, at least as of right now. Not so sure about the near future, but right now you still have the right to say what you want to say in the United States of America. But yes, you can choose to be offended. Keep It Simple says, I keep saying the best weight loss I had the past 3 years of my health journey was cutting out all the toxic people. Yes. Yeah, I had a similar loss. And it's been great. I've replaced a lot of dead weight so-called friends with a minority few solid people who I would fight to the death for. And you need those people in your life who you would give yourself to save them, and vice versa. It's a mutual thing. Just wrote about that in one of the journal entries for my book. Just yesterday I was writing on that. Having that tit for tat with people of investing in them, they invest in you. And if you got people in your life that don't invest in you, you got to let those people go. I don't know what value they add to you unless you're a sadist and like narcissism. I took a girl out on a date about a month ago, and the whole date, all she did was talk about herself. Now I was asking questions about her, but I thought, okay, I'm asking all these questions about her. At some point, she will ask about me. Do you know not one single question about me? Now I would slide in things here and there. When I saw she wasn't asking, I thought, okay, maybe she doesn't know the etiquette of this. In conversation, you try to share. And so I would slide things in. No follow-ups on anything I said. And so at the end of the night, I knew there was never going to be another date. And I was okay with that. Sorry, there's a truck right on my butt. I don't know why they have to come right up on you like that. I have the right of way. It's just that intersection. But I knew at the end of the night, it wasn't going anywhere. She gave me a kiss, but I don't know why. Because I was like, that was a horrible date. But some people are that way. So caught up in themselves and not interested in you. Let those people go. Proud of you. Keep it simple. Hello, Cherish. Thanks for being here. TGIF, she says. Shayna says, my husband is a nurse and he has seen drug use go through the roof. Yes, that's the other thing. All the stresses of the world have caused people to go to drugs. And of course, fentanyl has become a humongous problem. All these drugs people are taking are laced with fentanyl, making them a lot more deadly. So we're in a really sad state that people are so caught up in the minutia of worrying about their life that they're taking desperate measures, doing illicit drugs. It's sad where we are. Very sad. Humans are not meant to be locked down. Well, we could definitely talk about that. Last year about killed me with all the travel restrictions and staying in your home and and things not being open. We all miss the interaction with people. And I've talked about this before. Usually, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I just didn't want to run over you.
That's all right. What's your name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, I'm Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
I'd like to say hi, Jimmy.
Yes, there you go, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too, sweetie. All right, so guys, I'm forgetting where I was now. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program, already in progress. Humans are not meant to be locked down. Yeah, I mean, we're meant to be social. I'm used to seeing people, thousands of people, at conferences every year. And last year, I saw 8 people all year long. Now, I've rectified that a little more. I've seen at least 8 people on this trail that I walk on, but we're meant to be around other people. Social beings is what humans are. And when we forget about that is the moment we have the mental decline and start worrying about things we don't need to worry about. So, you're so right. We're not meant to be locked down. Good morning. Cherish says losing toxic people will be exiting a toxic job in 2022. It's going to be the year of our peeps. Yes. I have high hopes for 2022. All this work I've done on myself mentally, physically, it's going to manifest. I think I'm trying to think of a word of the year kind of thing. And I think my word is going to be re-emergence. And I think we all are ready to re-emerge into a society that we want. That's my hope, my desire. Cupcakes, Curves, and Bella says, sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Oh, yeah. I would rather know exactly who you are than to be fooled by who I think you are. All day, every day. Bulletproof says, some people aren't looking for real relationships because real relationships go both ways. Yep. You can't have one person doing all the heavy lifting in a relationship. And this is any relationship, not just love relationship, but friendships, even family. You can't have just one person doing all the work. It's got to be mutual. Yes, Del Norte, narcissistic behavior. Exactly. Cherish says, do you think narcissism is passed down from parent to child? Not from a genetic standpoint, no. I don't think narcissism is passed down that way. Behaviorally, yes. I think parents that are narcissists, and I had a dad that was major narcissist. You don't beat the shit out of your kid all throughout their teenage years without being somewhat caught up in yourself. And for me, I think a lot of people have the monkey see, monkey do. If they see their parents doing it, they end up doing what their parents did. Maybe slightly better, but for the most part, you mimic the things that you see. So, yeah, I do think behaviorally, things are passed down. Shayna says, so crazy. I worked in trucking and warehousing for food when the pandemic started. I never worked such long hours in my life. I then opened an all keto bakery. Would love to not see people for a long time. Well, that's perspective. I appreciate it. But you're probably not the social butterfly that Jimmy Moore is. I need people. That's the way my brain works. I have to have people in my life, or I don't have a life. I don't feel human without other humans around. Now, I'd go to the grocery store and I'd see masked humans, and that was a sort of kind of interaction with people, but not really. I needed smiles, so it's kind of nice that people aren't wearing, at least where I live, aren't wearing masks anymore. Sporadically, yes. But for the most part, all the stores I go into now, and the farmer's market and everything, no masks. So I get to see bright smiling faces, hugs, all the things. We need all those things. Yeah, where is the bakery, says Cherish. I would like to know. Where did you open up a bakery? Would love to know that. But guys, if you just joined in, it's day number 94 of my stay sabbatical to 50. 100 days, guys, is next week. I will be rocking and rolling, finishing this thing up 1 week from today, doing a wrap up walk and talk. So don't miss next Friday. That's my last time online of the whole year. And then I'm going away till January 1st. So don't miss next Friday. I'm an extreme extrovert, says Shayna. You could probably describe Jimmy as extreme extrovert. The funny thing is, when I was in high school, no, I was an introvert because I was afraid to say anything out of fear of what my dad would do. When I went off to college, I think I opened up and went the other direction. I went from severe introvert to severe extrovert, just like you. It's just been a crazy time to have to get out in our line of livelihood. Yeah, sorry, that didn't make a lot of sense. I was trying to read it in real time and translate. I love my unmask, says Cherish. Yeah. If you still have to wear a mask where you live, there is a great company I've partnered with called Unmask. And if you go to playthemaskgame.com, you can pick up one of these masks. They're breathable masks. You put it on, it looks just like a real mask, but you can breathe right through it. So playthemaskgame.com if you want to get one of those. Oh, Shayna says it's in Greensboro, North Carolina. That is just up the road from me. Shayna, reach out to me in my DM. I would love to come visit your bakery. Although you did just say you don't want to see people, so maybe we should avoid it, right? I would freak you out if I popped into your store. Hey, it's Jimmy Moore. How are you? You'd be like, I know, Our microbiomes are meant to interact, not mask. Yes. Yes. So guys, day 94, rocking and rolling it here today. So excited for this last week of the stay sabbatical to 50 coming up. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I will be back, definitely back tomorrow. Sunday, I'm still iffy about at this point. I haven't taken a rest day in about 8 days, and usually I try to get one in, but I've been okay. But I know my body is probably due for one very soon. And I saw next week, Wednesday, which is day 99 next week, is like an 80% chance of rain in like the 30s for the temperature. Now things can change between now and next week, but I was like, 80% chance. It is miserable out here walking with an umbrella. So just a heads up on that possibility. Shayna says, it'd be awesome to have you show up. So many customers know you. Maybe we could do a book signing or something at your store sometime. Let me know. Reach out to me. Cherish says, 94. Woohoo. Yeah. We are closing it out. Berkeley says, I was very introverted in high school, and now I'm an extrovert. However, I don't need to be around people, but I do love people. I wish I didn't need to be around people, but I feed off of energy of people. This right here is a proxy for that, but it's not the same. There's just something about being around people energy, smiles, hugs. I think one of my love languages is touch, and so it's hard not being around people for that purpose. So that's what makes it hard for me. But guys, if you missed any of my past episodes, pop on over to any of the social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, type in Stay Batical 250. You'll find all the videos that way. Or go to my website, livinlavitalowcarb.com/staybatical. You can see them there as well. Go have yourselves a wonderful Friday and weekend. And we'll see you guys a little bit later on tomorrow. Remember, on the weekends when I go live, it's not this early morning. I go to the farmer's market in the mornings on Saturday mornings. So usually it's around 10, 11, somewhere in there, Eastern time. So catch me then if you want to watch live tomorrow, and we'll see you then.